Welcome to day 2. You get out your booklet. Maybe you already listened to the Bible story, maybe not. Make sure you do day 2, which is a heart, because happy Valentine's Day. Our verse for Valentine's Day is, we love because he, meaning God, who is Jesus, first loved us. Ready? Say it again with me. We love because he first loved us. When we know Jesus loves us, we can love and be kind to everyone else. It doesn't mean mushy, hugging kinds of love. It means the kind of agape love, which means you're friends and nice and kind and generous to everybody. All right. Today you had the Vineyard Workers. You watched that, or you will. You're working on your day 2 while you're on this water break activities. Now, the words that are in your sight words, let's see if we can read them. Let's go down. In, is, you, that, it. And you read those over and over and over. One time going across at least, and one time going down. Here are some blends. These are your L blends. So make those. Let's do it going down. Bull, soul, pull, goal, soul. And do them down and across. Then it says reading sentences. Read them to an adult. Read them over and over. Adults, you can help. Finally, sentences. Fill in what it's saying. Can you tell me about what? What can you tell me about? Can you tell me about baking cookies? Can you tell me about making those car holders for our classroom to wait in line for the bathroom? Can you tell me about chicks? Can you tell me about dogs? You write what you think and then put the correct punctuation mark right there at the end. All right, there's 2 other ones. Read them together, sound them out. You should know all the words. On the next one, you're filling in numbers again at the number math blaster. Fill in the missing numbers. It might go forward, it might go backwards. Then you're doing patterns. Make the exact missing one at the end. Fill in the right number in the 10 frame of what you think will come next. And then do shapes. So it's symbols. How many in a 10 frame? Shapes. Finally, do tally marks. You're going to want to count the tally marks and put the correct regular numeral on the line. And then on the bottom, you remember you don't have to do this part because you're already listening to stories and doing math. A little bit of review. So then on day 2, we have to do this together. Once you do it together, you get to mark off the first box that you read it with the teacher. Let's read it together. Here we go. Hush, cat. Oh, exclamation mark. Do it again. Hush, cat. When the shop is shut, the cat chats with the fish. Hush, cat, hush. Josh said to that cat. When the shop is shut, then that is that. Oops, here I go. When the shop is shut, the cat chats with the pug. Hush, cat, hush, Josh said to the cat. When the shop is shut, then that is that. Mark off your box number 1. You read it with me. Now go read it to someone else and read it to yourself. For social studies, we're talking about buildings. What buildings do you know? Where do you think this belongs? Is this in a city or in the country? What's it called? It's called a barn. And you see a barn in the country, in the rural area, because you don't have cows and pigs and horses and those kind of animals in a city, not usually. All right, living in the city is a lot different than living in the country. Have you been to Phoenix? That's a city. Or Globe? Or have you been to Safford? Those are cities. Draw a building you would see in the city. And then what might you see in the country? You can draw your own kind of barn or something different you might see in the country. Think about what you see in the country. We live in Peridot and San Carlos, Cutter, 7 Mile, Gilson Wash, Rainbow City, over in Bylis, White City, Rainbow City, Navajo Point, Top Road or Bottom Road. We're kind of rural. We're in a bit of a city. You don't see big, tall skyscrapers. But what do you see? Says, tell one way the city is different from the country. Write on back if you need more space. But we don't have a lot of extra space. You'd have to write way back here on the back of the booklet. So just try to write 2 sentences. What does a city have that's different than what does the country have? All right, if you only write 1 sentence, that's okay too. Finally, we have a new color. What is our color of the day? Blue. Draw something blue. Let's read these words. Bird, a blue is. Come on, that's not the right sense. A sentence has to make sense. Good job. Well, it's our first day on Valentine's Day of dividing words into syllables. Remember what you do. Find the vowels and underline them. Mark the vowels with a V. Say it with me. Draw the vowel bridge. Mark the consonants only on the vowel bridge. Follow rule number 1 or rule number 2. Remember, rule number 1, VCCV word, divide between the consonants. What if it's a VCV? The first thing you try is divide before the consonant. If it doesn't make sense, you might have to try after the consonant. Mark your syllables closed or open. Mar. Is the A open to say his name or closed? Closed by the R. Mark it. Closed. Kl for closed. Look at the next vowel in the next syllable. Is it closed or opened? Well, nothing is blocking it. What did I forget to do? When it's closed, it says his short name, so mark it with the brevet. When it's open to say his name, put the macron on, which means he can go on and on and on to say his name. Oh, Marco, 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 like playing the water game Marco Polo. Marco is for that, and Marco is a name if it has a capital letter. You do the rest. Divide your words into syllables. Read them to an adult. Good job. There's only one more thing left to do on the whole day, and that is to use the QR code to listen to the Wonky Donkey. There are 2 QR codes. This one is me reading the story. It's a great story. But this one is a granny who read the story to her little baby grandchild, but she thought it was so funny she just laughed and laughed. And I want you to see that video too. So take a QR code of this when you're done. She can't help laughing because she thinks it's such a funny story. And then find out what type of music did the donkey like. He, and then you write, likes what kind of music. You won't know unless you listen to the story. Then you can draw the donkey who's quite wonky. That's it for today. Nice talking to you. Have a good Tuesday and happy Valentine's Day.